Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Today we have another story about crazy Karen who got her just desserts instead of her shopping. And of course, the police and ambulance were involved, so stay tuned. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Supermarket Karen tried to ram worker with a trolley. I'm not a participant in this story, just an amused witness. In England and Wales, on Sundays, big supermarkets close at 4 p.m. I'm pretty sure it's a trading times law or something, but little corner shops and small supermarket local stores can stay open. No idea why this is. The UK has weird laws. It's also illegal here to carry a salmon suspiciously. Weird country. Anyway, I'm headed to the big supermarket in the city, 40 minutes from my house, to get a few bits we needed for the next week. I was cutting it close, arriving at 3:38 p.m. I got what I needed and made my way out of the store at or around 3:59 p.m., by which time the store was no longer taking in customers. The store has an indoor and an outdoor. Since COVID, it also has put up red and green traffic lights telling people when they can and can't enter. As I was walking through the first set of outdoors past the big barrel of pumpkins, a woman with a trolley was standing in front of or behind a store employee whose back was to me, attempting to enter. The male employee sounded somewhat exasperated as he explained the store was closed. The lady, who from here on we'll call Karen, was arguing that she had shopping to do and only had a few items to get and she'll be 5 minutes tops. She had the giant trolley with a baby seat and at least 4 bags from what I could see. The employee told her again they were closed and she'd have to come back tomorrow. Karen was not having it. She decided to ram the poor employee with the trolley. Unfortunately for him, he was the perfect height to hit his meat and 2 veg. The poor employee went down with a thud, crying in pain. Karen, seeing this as her opportunity, attempted to push over the employee, not past. She literally tried to push her trolley over his foot to get through the first set of doors. The guy was having none of it. From his semi-fetal position on the floor, he reached out and grabbed Karen's ankle, forcing her to scream and start trying to stamp on the poor guy. Another employee quickly hustled those of us who were standing watching the show out the door as security was bear-hugging the Karen. I got my shopping into the car and decided to head to the KFC that was in the same little retail park as the supermarket. I sat in the ridiculously long line waiting for my sweet chili wrap and sweet chili bites and Maldezer's Crucium. I got the pleasure of seeing a police car and ambulance with full blues and twos going past to collect Karen and the employee. Though I really wish I knew what I missed to require an ambulance with blues and twos, because although I'm aware a direct hit to the veggies hurts like a son of a bleep, I can't see it warranting an ambulance. And our next story. Neighbor thinks he's entitled to take our fence down. It was summer, so my sister and I were out in our backyard with my daughter playing around when this guy pops his head over the fence and asks if we can talk. I don't like talking to people, so my sister went up to him to see what was up. Guy: Hey, I'm so-and-so. Do you live here? Sister: Yes, we do. Great. I own these 2 houses next door, and I'm trying to get them ready to put on the market. I have guys coming to build a fence, and I was hoping you'd be okay with me having them rebuild this side of your fence as well. I'll cover the cost of everything. That sounds great, but unfortunately we don't own the place. We rent, so you'll have to call my landlord. I can give you his info. The guy's looking slightly frustrated. Okay. My sister gives him our landlord's number and he leaves. We send off a quick text to our landlord to let him know what happened and that somebody would be calling him about the fence. Landlord was game as he didn't have to pay for anything, but had a feeling this guy would want to change the fence style, so definitely wanted to talk to him about it. A little over a week later, it was morning. I let my dogs out and went to make my daughter breakfast. I was about to start when the doorbell rang. There was a guy dressed in construction gear. I opened the door, and before I could even say hello, he goes, "You need to get your dogs inside." And why's that? Because we're here to take the fence down, and we can't do that with the dogs out there. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize everything had been all sorted out. No one notified me. Yeah, I'll get them in. I close the door, and as I'm about to head to the back door, a thought crosses my mind that maybe I should confirm everything with my landlord. Well, good thing I did, because he'd not received one call from anyone about the fence, not even a missed call from a number he didn't recognize. Nothing. At this point, my sister was awake, and I had continued to leave my dogs outside. My landlord suggested asking for the supervisor and asking him to have the guy who hired me call my landlord. I forgot to mention, totally important though, my landlord owns the whole fence. Even though it's technically a shared fence, he's the one who owns it completely. They need my landlord's permission to take it down or face destruction of property charges. I don't even have a chance to finish my landlord's number down before there's another knock at the door. My sister answers this time. Construction dude again, you need to get the dogs inside. You need permission to be here, my sister says. My landlord just informed us that he had no idea anyone was coming to take the fence down today or any day, which is pretty concerning since he's the one that owns the fence. I don't know anything about that. I get that. That's why you need to talk to the supervisor. I can give him landlord's number and we can get this all cleared up. My sister then goes to talk to the supervisor. I stayed inside with my daughter, dog still outside. My sister comes back and said the supervisor was going to call the guy who owns the houses to get him to call our landlord. About 20 minutes go by when construction dude comes back. Everything's been cleared up. Could you get the dogs in now? Yes, we can. Thank you. I let the dogs in and my sister and I go about our day. I should have called my landlord to confirm a second time. About an hour later, I get a text from my landlord. Hey, no one's called me yet. Are the construction guys still there? When I tell you my heart was in my stomach and throat all at the same time, I quickly call him. OMG, you need to get down here. I'm so sorry. The construction dude came to the door and said they worked everything out with you and were given the go-ahead to start working. I should have called you again, but I didn't even think. I'm so sorry, so sorry. Whoa, it's okay. It's not your fault. You shouldn't even have to be dealing with any of this. The guy should have called me as soon as you said you didn't own the place. Can you do me a favor, though? Go see how much of the fence they tore down and take pictures, please. Yeah, I can do that. Awesome. Send them to me as soon as you have the pictures. I'm on my way. I then go back out to have a smoke and pretend I'm playing on my phone while getting pictures. They'd already taken down the majority of the fence, and the only parts left were the frame about halfway down. I sent the pictures off to my landlord, then went inside to wait till he got here. Now, reader, if you haven't already figured out, my landlord is a super calm guy. He knows his laws and knew this was going to go his way no matter how it played out. When he got to the house, he walked up to the supervisor with a smile on his face. Everything that follows was told to me by landlord after he was done talking. I'm trying to remember this as best I can. So landlord went to the supervisor. Hi, I'm C. I own this house here, and this happens to be my fence you're currently tearing apart. His eyes go wide a bit. Oh, we had permission to... No, you had permission from no one. No one with the authority to give you permission anyway. I also know for a fact my tenant told you that you needed to have your client call me. I called him and he said he didn't need to do that and that everything was good to go. You already had your permission. Then I suggest you call him up for me, please. Supervisor calls guy and explains that my landlord was there and wanted to talk to him. Landlord. Hey there, it's C. I'm the guy that owns the house that you're currently destroying the fence of. Just wondering why you thought you had permission to tear apart my fence. Oh, I didn't realize the house was owned by someone else. The girl I talked to said I could go ahead and replace the fence. No, she didn't. She told you that she didn't own the place and you needed to call me, even gave you my number. Now that's not true. Don't. Just don't. I trust my tenants more than I trust you, so stop with this and instead let's talk about the fence. I want the fence back the way it was. I was gonna put the fence back. I was just gonna change the style a bit. Is that all right? No, it's not. Had you called me, and I could have worked out a new style of fence, all I would have asked is that you at least make it look similar to the rest of my fence. Now, if you want a new fence, you can pay to have my whole fence replaced to look the same. Okay, I'll have the fence redone the way it was. Sounds great. Also, don't forget the nice side faces me. We all then had a good laugh about how everything played out. Before leaving, my landlord asked if we needed him to do anything to make all this easier for us since we were the ones living here. We asked that he have them bring a temporary fence so we could still let the dogs out. Landlord said he'd make sure they brought one at the expense of the guy, of course. You may think this is the end, but it's not. A temporary fence was brought in, essentially these huge metal panels held together by a metal connector at the bottom and zip ties. We didn't care, it worked. They built the fence, but they left a huge gap between the sidewalk in the backyard and the fence, about a foot deep and wide enough that I could fit my whole leg in it no problem. They also left the temporary fence for 2 weeks until my dad took it apart and heaved it over the fence. Also, my front gate had to be taken apart, and instead of building it the way it was originally, the gate was connected to the fence, went as wide as the sidewalk, then another little bit of fence was built to connect it to the house. Instead, they built me a barn door of a gate so heavy that it leans so I have to lift it every time I go to open it, or else it's a bee to get it unlocked. I also don't have a sidewalk where the new lock was. It dipped down into a rock bed where I'd be too short to even reach the lock. Called my landlord and he had the guy have the workers come back twice, once to pack the gap they left behind and the second time so they could add paving stones to the rock bed so that I could reach the lock. Again, this was all done on the guy's dime, and when he tried to complain about it, my landlord reminded him that this could have gone a whole other way and be costing him a lot more money. Also, that he could make him have them rebuild the gate to the original instead of just fixing the problems they created. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.